Hello everyone, you're welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Bavle Jonathan. In a lone top story, the main opposition political party in the Republic of Cameroon, the Social Democratic Front, calls for an immediate end to the spiral of violence, killing and injuring several persons in the two Anglophone regions of the country, the Northwest and the Southwest regions. This is one of the resolutions of the last National Executive Committee meeting that took place at the Ntarikon Palace of National Chairman John Frundi in the Northwest regional capital, Bamenda, over the weekend. The national chairman of the Social Democratic Front and his comrades are calling for an immediate end to violence in the two Anglophone regions. This information is contained in a release signed by the national chairman, of course, John Frundi, and the release was issued at the end of the National Executive Committee meeting that took place in Bamenda over the weekend. It is coming at a time when the situation has continued worsening on the ground in the two Anglophone regions, with more confrontations recorded between armed civilians on one hand and security and defense forces on the other hand, particularly in the southwest region of the country. We have details of the resolutions of the SDF National Executive Committee meeting in the following report. As the Anglophone crisis deepens into a terror and bloody twist, the main opposition political party in Cameroon, the Social Democratic Front, SDF, calls for an immediate end to the spiral of violence in the northwest and southwest regions. A release signed by the SDF national chairman John Frundi states that the population is paying an unbearable price with their lives and properties, while the socio-economic stability of the two Anglophone regions is destroyed. The release issued at the end of the last National Executive Committee meeting of the SDF in Bamenda reminds President Paul Biya's regime that no government has ever won a war against its own people, the war referring to the implementation of military force against civilians. In the same vein, the SDF, in one of the resolutions of the last National Executive Committee meeting, decries what it calls collective punishment inflicted on the population of the Northwest and Southwest regions.
Yes, okay. Now.
John Frundi's party blames the escalation of the socio-political crisis on the Yaoundé administration, saying that it is the handiwork of the Biya regime. The ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM political party, is accused of allegedly taking advantage of the crisis to manipulate some Anglophone youths to destroy the SDF in the northwest and southwest regions. Another issue that attracted strong condemnation from the SDF is the systematic extortion of money from those arrested and detained. In the midst of all these, the SDF continues urging the Cameroon government to accept dialogue as the only way out of the crisis. Concerning the senatorial election, the Social Democratic Front condemns the withholding of electoral funding by government, the use of state funds and properties like vehicles by some CPDM high-ranking officials for their campaigns. And the last confrontation between armed civilians on one hand and security and defense forces on the other hand, speaking volumes of the worsening situation in the two Anglophone regions of the country, occurred when Southwest Governor Benau Kalebilai was heading to Menji in the Lebialem division for the installation of the divisional or the senior divisional officer of that administrative unit, Etambokaya, as the convoy of the governor came under attack twice. Derek Jato takes us through that perilous journey in the following report.
After spending over 2 hours at the residence of the Senior Divisional Officer for Mania Division in the West Region of Cameroon, Southwest Governor Mr. Bernard Okaliabila is heading to Lebialem Division for the installation of the new Senior Divisional Officer for that division. Security is top on the agenda, and the Rapid Intervention Battalion B is leading the convoy. Just after Alo, the Southwest Governor's convoy is halted for the combat-ready security forces to scan the environment, and everywhere was seemingly quiet. But in Tinlewo village, the atmosphere was different.
You're serious under attack now. You're under attack. That's bullet you're getting in the background. We have been attacked here. We are going to Tinlewo now.
Governor Bernard Okaliabila of the Southwest region came under attack. From the bushes, the unidentified armed men rained down bullets on the Southwest Governor's convoy from the surrounding forested hills. Security forces responded immediately, and the gun battle lasted for some few minutes.
We are driving out of Lewo now. A while ago, the governor's convoy was almost halted. Of course, we witnessed some exchange of fire between the security forces and non-armed civilians. We have not seen them, but we felt their impact. We are still having some couple of minutes to get to Menji, chief town of the Lebialem Division.
The convoy finally made its way to Menji, chief town of the Lebialem Division. The town of Menji is not the same again. Menji is now having a picture of a war zone. At the Senior Divisional Officer's office, marks of the 22nd March attack on Mr. Ongito Zakari, the then Senior Divisional Officer for the Lebialem Division, was very visible. His official car was heavily chopped by bullets from the unidentified armed men. Judging from the damages, some military sources revealed that those who must have inflicted such damages are heavily sophisticated. It was during this attack that a delegate was killed and Mr. Ongito Zakari seriously wounded.
This is your new Senior Divisional Officer. Mr. Senior Divisional Officer Eta Ashu Mbokaya. Take command.
After the installation of Mr. Eta Bokaya Ashu as the Senior Divisional Officer for the Lebialem Division, the Southwest Governor, Mr. Bernard Okaliabila's convoy, is heading back to Boya via the West region, and just ascending Lewo village again. The Southwest Governor came under a more serious attack that lasted longer than the previous.
This is the second time. It was in this same place where we were going that this convoy was attacked. Same in that same spot in Lewo, the convoy again has been attacked. We are getting this sound. The change between the security forces and armed civilians. Pray that we make it alive. We are zipping out of the Lebialem Division now, and following the security situation, it is on record that the Southwest Governor's convoy was attacked twice, of course along the Chang Menji Road, specifically in Lewo. We have managed to forge our way through thanks to a heavily security deployment over here. I am Jerry Jadu on the security situation along the Chang Menji Road for Equinoxe Television News.
And because of the prevailing situation, the installation of the Senior Divisional Officer of Lebialem Division in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, Etam Bokaya Ashu, took place at an empty ceremonial ground in a deserted village. Once more, Derek Jato reports.
Lebialem, a division of over 80,000 inhabitants, witnessed only 11 service heads present at the installation ceremony of Mr. Eta Bokaya Ashu, the new Senior Divisional Officer for Lebialem Division. This is the picture of the Menji ceremonial grandstand, the divisional headquarters. There is no Lebialem resident here, nor their local representatives like the mayors or traditional rulers to be witnesses as Mr. Bernard Okalia Bilai, the Southwest Governor, installed their new Senior Divisional Officer.
Son and daughter of Lebialem Division, this is your new Senior Divisional Officer.
Also absent was the outgoing Senior Divisional Officer, Mr. Ongito Zakari. Sources say he is still recovering from bullet wounds that he sustained during a gun battle between the security forces and what is known here as the Ambazonian forces. According to the Southwest Governor, Lebialem people have been given a fair share by President Paul Biya.
The Lebialem Division had been complaining and crying about not having a minister. Now you have a minister. The Lebialem population were crying of never have had a senior divisional officer from amongst his sons. Now you have an SDO, whom I recently installed in Mudemba Njang Division. Lebialem people, let me ask you, after all this, what do you want? What's your problem?
And that they should tell their children to drop their arms.
I wish to use this opportunity to solemnly invite the elite, traditional and political leaders of this land of Lebialem to advise their sons who have been misguided to take up arms against the institution of our country and who are now in the bushes and hills to come out of the bushes and surrender peacefully. If they refuse and continue, the government will take its responsibility fully.
Behind me is Menji, the chief town of Lebialem Division. The town that was once known for its hustling and bustling nature is today a shadow of it itself. I am Derek Jato for Equinoxe Television News. Menji, Lebialem Division, signing out. Okay.
Thanks, Derek Jato, for that special package from Menji in the Lebialem Division, southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. Now back here in the economic capital, Douala, a suspected thief, has been electrocuted to death in New Bell in the Douala 2 subdivision. The victim, a young man, is alleged to have attempted to steal from a store during the downpour that hit the country's economic capital, Douala, earlier today. Suman Jikangebre has more.
Inhabitants of the New Bell Casino neighborhood had a difficult Monday morning. A young man by name Cheto Peggy Lionel has met with his Waterloo. He is a friend. Last night we were together drinking palm wine. But he is someone who loves moving at night. On Sunday, a mother told him that she dreamt about him being detained by the police, but he took it lightly. Lionel, who died through electrocution, had successfully infiltrated a store to steal iron. At about 8:30 a.m., when I arrived at my store, immediately I opened the door. I saw someone who was sitting but dead. The door wasn't forced. Amongst the astonished onlookers at the scene of the incident was Peggy Lionel's aunt. The arrival of the gendarmes of the Nkululu Brigade, headed by its commander, Alois Abega, facilitated things for the lifeless body of Lionel to be removed and the store sealed by the gendarmes. The body of Lionel was later taken to a mortuary in one of the hospitals in town.
And this is where we end this edition of the 6 p.m. Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thanks for staying with us. Goodbye.